Just pinch the cheeks. That's the key here. All right. Good morning, folks. Welcome to Phoenix Business Exchange East End Edition. Live at 1745 Courtwood at Hive. And I don't have a screen to share with you.
But yeah, we can do that.
Hang on.
Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah, Tony.
We can do anything.
Yeah, I'm not at my computer at my desk where I can swing around and just make that happen.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Okay.
So, while Tony's getting that up, so again, just to reiterate, the next in-person meeting is going to be Monday, June 15th, both in person and live. And at the Phoenix Business Exchange, if you're coming in and you're looking in from the outside, come into pbex.ca, pbex.ca, and we're more than glad to have you here. Member of the week is Jacqueline Richards, and you want to find out more about Jacqueline, hit the red button where it says Jacqueline's e-card. And we all have that. That's the benefit of being a Phoenix member. You end up getting a card that makes it super easy to find you. And so if you can scroll, perfect, Tony. You see the buttons there where it says Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday? Those are the buttons you click. It doesn't matter whether it's this time of day or any time of the day. You click those buttons to show up at a Phoenix meeting that's being held. We have one on May 26th at 7 p.m. That's the After Hours group hosted by Pinelli Prevost. And upcoming member events are populated in there. If you have something that's coming up, let Kat know, and she can pipe it in there, right? Canada Growth Network, we meet every Monday, save this last Monday. And can't remember for love or money right now the name of the person who is coming up because I'm not at my desk. But she is from Ottawa, and it's Monday at 1 to 2 p.m. Free to attend. East Trade Winds, we're also having another event, again, free to attend 8 to 9. East End at Hive on Zoom. Ta-da, we're here May 20th.
That's today.
South End Group is meeting next week, May 28th, in person and online at 7:30 a.m. QR directory for all members is right there. If you go to the right side of the screen, it says e-cards to connect to. We've done 193 connections. Those cards are showing traction between us and other people. Over $5 million worth of business conducted since 2016. Year-to-date number is 24,563 since January 9. If you have not sent your stats in, please do so to send them in to Tony. And with that said, we'll stop our share and we'll swing over to our educational minute. And Tony, over to you.
I just wanted to mention that it was my fault that we didn't update the stats. There wasn't that many changes. We had an additional 6 or 7 referrals and about $1,000 worth of thing, but I'll send that over to Kat. So it's all good. Sorry about that, Kat. I guess the holiday got me all out of there. It was interesting that yesterday I saw Simon Sinek. He's one of my favorite speakers. He says that people say that they'd love to have kids because but nobody says that they want to raise kids for 18 years. But they say that to have kids. So it's that feeling that you're holding your son or your daughter for the first time and you're just elated. And then the things after that changes quite substantially. And when that converts to business, he says that it's almost like, hey, I got a business, I'm in my own business. And then we realize that there's a lot of work involved with that, because it's always the day-to-day and the month-to-month, year-to-year sort of thing that you're on it, and it never ends. It's just like parenthood, because it's great to be in your own business because you have that freedom, but then the whole world opens up. And it's just as gratifying. Well, I guess parent is the number one gratification, but I would say when you're developing your own business and you're building something, you're building a network, you're building people. Like it's taken me 15 years to get 250 clients that really love me. Now I got a couple of thousand that I know and just acquaintances on Facebook and so on, but there's 250 that come on a regular basis for, for various things that they need. But it's taken 15 years to do that, and I had to open up a networking group to do it so we could get out there. So I had one of the hardest categories. But the business itself, it's all about connecting people. And he was also saying that when you look at your business in the beginning, you're a parent. In other words, you do the long hours, you do the struggle, you do all the deals, and it's almost like one of the reasons why businesses are having a hard time is because they're running their business that they are the CEO, but they are doing the work of a clerk. In other words, you're okay as long as people are coming in, you're selling, you're doing that exchange, but you don't want to do all the other stuff because it's big. The marketing, if you have a show coming up, like Susan, if she has a show coming up, she just can't show up like a clerk would, right? There's so much other things. You got to promote, let other people know you're going to be there, make sure that the clients that you are with know that you're going to be there, and then they say, oh, and maybe I should go to the show, see everybody else, and then stop in and see Susan, right? So when we resist that, we are just parents. And so what the main ingredient of all that is that run your business like you're a grandparent. Because you've got wisdom, you've got experience, and it's a lot more fun. It's not as stressful as when, you have to put in the long hours to build up the business. Because that's the hard part. The other hard part is, and we've heard this many times before, about follow-up. In the beginning, follow-up is very crucial to get that client. But once you got the client, what are you doing to follow up after? And it's that grandparent that says, all I have to do is just say, hey, Joe, how you doing? It's been a long time since I've seen you. Is there any way that you could give me some feedback? How are you doing? Last time we talked, your son was about to be graduating. How's he doing in his new job? Something like that. I guarantee that if you send out every 10 of those, 2 will say, I've been meaning to give you a call, or I've been meaning to sort of touch base with you, and they're going to buy something, or they'll come in for a session, or they'll, at least it's a reminder that you're there. Because you've already built your name, now make it worth something. That's a grandparent. Okay, a parent just works, and it's like a wall, and it's stressful. And I know as a parent, I didn't really see my kids for a long time building up that business. But I'm having a lot more fun being a grandparent, because they come and visit and you feed them and they go home, everybody knows you. Like you've got that, so use it. Use that grandparenthood for your business. Bring in the wisdom and all the things you've learned about shows and what to do, what not to do. Because you are just a wealth of knowledge because you've got thousands of hours in your own business. Don't run it like a clerk where you just want to do the transaction and you just want to do the minimum things, because I think that's where a lot of businesses, when other people look at it, oh, you're not following up, you're not doing Google reviews. Geez, and I forget that too, I have to admit. Because I'm always thinking of the client. I never think of myself. So that's something I have to work on. But it's that grandparent that says, hey, do you like what I did with you? Yeah. Then, here's the link. If you liked it, give me a Google review. And it doesn't take long, most of us, we can have a link, put it onto our e-cards. We can do that if you want. Most of us have that. We can update it if it's something different. But so anyway, run your business like a grandparent. Okay, back to you.
Thank you, Tony. So for those of you that are feeling senior, don't feel senior. Be young at heart. We're going to do a round robin of, hey, what's happening in your universe? I'm going to start off with Sam and then go to Susan McGarry. Sam, what's happening in your universe? What breaks and what trannies are you taking care of? Transmissions, I mean.
Well, the transmission on Monday, that was a BMW, what they call a Mini Cooper. I don't know if you know those little cute little cars that are out there. That's one I did for a young lady. But it was because I was going to do it this Saturday, but I got something prior to do, so I delayed it, or not delayed it, I moved it up. So I did it on Monday. Anyway, Sam Stores ConnectedCars.ca, today's mobile electronics, plus all kinds of things like, well, transmission fluid changes, especially if you have what's called a CVT transmission, something you should definitely get done if you have such a thing. Unlike the traditional transmissions, these things need maintenance more often, unfortunately. Let's see here. Besides dash cameras, well, I do all kinds of minor repairs, cars, oil changes, brake jobs. And today I want to talk about, well, it's been nice weather and I'm outside more. And I notice things when I go for walks and when they got the windows down in the car. And a lot of cars, people don't pay attention to the little hints that their car is giving them when it comes to maintenance. If you have a squeaking sound when you're either putting on your brakes or even when you drive and you hear the squeaking sound, well, that's more than likely the brake pad warnings telling you that you need a brake job coming up very soon. Don't wait until you hear that grinding sound. If you hear rattling sounds when you go over bumps, that's usually stabilizer links. Not a priority necessarily, but if they're annoying, that's what you need to get repaired, and they're not very expensive. If you hear a roaring sound when you get on a highway, and it gets louder and louder as you speed up, that's probably a wheel bearing. And do not ignore that, because you ignore the wheel bearing sound, you can actually lose a wheel of your car. And you don't want in that situation. It can be very dangerous. So pay attention. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't listen to the sounds of their cars telling them. A lot of times it'll warn you that you need maintenance. So if you hear those sounds, head for your service company or whoever, and or me, and I'll help diagnose that issue. Let's see here. BAM floods. I don't have any BAMs this week, but I hopefully will have some in the future, and maybe one or two of you will be involved. That's it for me. Sam Stores ConnectedCars.ca. Today's mobile electronics about the cost of the vehicle and a hell of a lot. No. Did I say hell?
Oh, heck, Sam. Quick question to ask you. How much for a CVT transmission oil change?
I'm sorry?
How much for the CVT?
Well, that can vary. That BMW, it has a dual clutch transmission, and that, believe it or not, double the price when it comes to the fluid, as compared to I would say, a North American car or something more, Japanese. So it depends on the fluid, unfortunately, but usually around $200. That I'll just give you a sort of average. But if you have a unique vehicle like these BMW Mini Coopers or say an Audi A5, something like that, it can be more costly because of the fluid costs. It's about a 2 hour job.
Wow. Sorry, Sam, I'll take the chat out offline. Susan McGarry, what is going on? And then we will go to Kat and then the other Susan. Go ahead, Susan McGarry.
Well, let's start by saying hello, gorgeouses. Susan McGarry with Best You by Design. That's my new trademark name. Yes, I do represent a company called Pure Trim, but really what my focus is helping people become their best version of themselves internally. Now, when we go to the gym, right, we carry weights and we do weights. This is called a tool. Without the weight, you won't strengthen and sculpture your arms. It just won't work. Sometimes it can. There is Pilates, but this is a great tool to sculpt your body from the outside. What I do is I help people sculpt their bodies from the inside. And this is an issue because sometimes people don't see what's going on inside their body and they don't realize that they need something like this. We all know that we need a weight, but like Sam said earlier, pay attention to those sounds and those noises. If you're clinking and crackling and tired and have brain fog, if you're just not your normal self, just using something as simple as a multivitamin. Like I didn't take this for the longest time because I just didn't think I needed it. Well, the power of this has changed everything for me. My nails are stronger, they don't break, they're not brittle, my hair is thicker, shinier, healthier. So there are certain benefits to taking a multivitamin every single day. Susan with Best You by Design, and I'll put my contact information in the chat. Thanks so much. Back to you, Grandpa Ben. Bernie. Grandpa Bernie.
Oh, Susan, naughty lady, naughty
But a
lady.
good looking grandpa.
Oh, yeah, you can't soften that blow there at the moment. Kat, over to you. And Kat, over to you.
Sorry, I heard a totally different name. That's why I did not respond.
Well, I'll call you Ben then. Hey, Ben, over to you.
No.
It's just like, who's he talking to?
You?
So I'm gonna say two quick things before I do my pitch. So firstly, the name that Bernie couldn't find for Canada Growth Network is Jessie Lynn McDonald.
Thank
So
you.
just in case anybody was like, who is it? There's your answer. The second thing is Susan is doing an event tonight at Hive. So she's not plugged it, so I'm going to get her to drop the information in the chat. So if anybody is free to attend that event, I think off the top of my head it's at 7 o'clock, Susan, was that right? Perfect. So if you are free to attend at Hive in person for her event, she would appreciate the support. And then I have quickly pulled together something for my pitch based on Tony. So this may be a total disaster, but thank you, ChatGPT, for the help. So running a business is already like parenting a toddler on espresso. 1 minute everything is calm, the next minute emails are exploding, orders need filling, social media wants attention, your coffee is cold again, and now you're supposed to be a full-time marketer. Hiring a marketer is basically giving your business that cool babysitter it definitely needs. While you're busy running the show, they're making your business look good online, they're posting consistently, they're helping keep your customers engaged, and they're reminding people that you actually do exist. Because let's be honest, post and pray is not a marketing strategy. Your business deserves more than blurry photos, random captions, and oops, forgot to post again this week. You focus on growing your business and let the cool marketer handle the chaos behind the scenes. So if you know somebody who needs that cool babysitter, I'd love a chat. Thanks, Bernie.
Oh, so babysitting, you do babysitting too. I like that. That's when I have
Just
leave.
put the kids in front of the Zoom camera. I'll watch them.
Sorry, Kat.
I like that.
Kat, that was a good pitch. Thank you.
You can take care of hundreds of kids that way.
No. They get into mischief. Susan Epps, over to you, ma'am.
Good morning, one and all. I don't know if it's spring or if it's summer. Have you started your spring cleaning? I thought today I would highlight Diamond Bright. This is the liquid version of your dishwasher detergent. It also comes in the pucks if that's your preference.
Yeah.
Did you know that if you do a test with Tide, get a jar and put some tinfoil over the top of it, pour some Tide on top of it, it will eat through the tinfoil. Now, not only are those chemicals being spewed out into your home environment as your dishes wash, you think you're cleaning your dishes, but guess what? Those chemicals are adhering to your dishes. And so then when you eat, you're eating those chemicals. Melaleuca's products, I didn't even say that I was with Melaleuca. I am Susan Epp with Melaleuca.com, your online shopping club for non-toxic cleaning products. And by non-toxic, I mean there's no chemicals, phthalates, and these sorts of things. And also the beauty of Melaleuca products are they're concentrated. So you're saving money by not having to spend so much. We only put a little bit in the bottom of the spray jar. The rest is water. So that is my pledge for total renewal. And Melaleuca just had their annual convention. And as per usual, they've announced a whole slew of brand new products. And so to your point of following up with people, I think that's going to be my opening line to say, did you know that we've now got such and such? So there we go. Susan Ebbs with melluca.com. Ongoing business with Wendy, who seems to have disappeared. And Penny Lee Brable. Oh, there she is. And Norm and I are having troubles getting together he ordered some product from me way back at the beginning of May. And I think we're going to finally get together at the end of this week. So thanks for the time to introduce my product, and have a great week, everyone.
Susan, thank you so much. Mr. Tony, who are you? What do you do?
Well, as everybody knows, I'm a medium and clairvoyant with higher self. I've been doing what I've been doing for over 20 years. I was even doing it when I was in the furniture business. I just had, when people came in, I just knew what they wanted. I just thought that was lucky. When I started moving people with the trucks we had, I knew that people were, as we were moving them in, they would be divorcing within 18 months, and that was happening. So again, I just thought that was lucky. It wasn't until I realized that either the house or various energies I was just sensitive to it. And when I started using tuning forks, I became more intuitive. That's what the sounds do. They, excuse me, they bring in a sense that you're balanced, and then more of your natural abilities start coming out. And everyone, absolutely everyone, is intuitive. We all have that instinct. We're mammals. We have instinct. And as you become more attuned to your natural abilities, you start seeing synchronicities. I don't know how many times yesterday I was looking at the clock and it was just crazy synchronistic. I look at the clock and it's 7:17:17 because it goes by the second. So when you look at it, it's 7:17 in the evening and 17 seconds. In that 1 second, if I would have waited a second before, it would have been different. A second after would have been different. And that happened all day, 2:22 and 22 seconds. And so when you start becoming more in line with the overall energies of everything, you start seeing those things all the time. One of the things that we are doing today is Sound Bath Day. Later today at 7 Eastern, for those that are watching on Facebook Live and you're in another time zone, we are starting it at 7 p.m. this evening. The main theme is to get rid or clear our gray cloak. For the last 3 weeks on our site, we've been talking about this concept of the gray cloak. It's an energy that's covering everyone, and it's just that ability to clear that so that we don't become uncertain. And one of the things that we do is that we have a package that we're going to be doing today to help clear that, but you can do it in your home. We have a 3-pack of tuning forks. One clears energy, and another one grounds you, and another one brings in love, or brings in that sense of balance. And these 3 tuning forks, you buy them once and you'll have them for 20 years. You'll be actually giving it to your kids or other people as you go, because you only have to buy them once. It's a tool. I'm sure even Sam has tools that dates back 20, 30 years and still working great, okay? And so that's the thing. And this one we're going to be teaching in person on July the 4th or 3rd or something. It's the first Sunday in July. And it's going to be at the Rainbow Minerals downtown near the Science and Technology Museum behind the McDonald's. And you've got people signed up for that to be showing how to do this in person. It's a 6-hour class of how to be able to tune yourself every day. All right, you get a workbook and it's amazing. We have so many things you can open up with that. But this is how we could do it, and you buy it once and that's it, okay? So The sound bath today, hopefully we'll be able to get a pretty good crowd. Usually we have about 20 people online and another 6 or 7 that are in the studio, all right? If you want more information, let me know. Tony Jennis from Higher Self, we are here to raise your spirits.
Thank you, Tony. Bernie Francois, Creative Insight. What do? I do connections between people. Excuse me, Knack for Business podcast is part of that journey. The other part of it is running 2 other groups that like Canada Growth Network, East Trade Winds. Like for example, and thank you, Kat, for saying who's on Monday. On Tuesday, it's Blaz. He's out of Slovenia, and he's a coach for coaches. And so that's who's talking then. That's just an example. Last that was this week. Carl was speaking, and he filled in on East Trade Winds, and he did a chat about how to be a guest. Things you got to do. Everything's been posted. If you go to blog.knackforbusiness.com, you'll see his information right in that particular space. And by the way, there's that band that's happened right there. That's the kind of the activity in the background. Also having a chat with Carl, and did a podcast with him on last Friday. So that's kind of the backstory. With all that said, the wonderful Wendy Chung is going to tell us a story, maybe about swimming pools. I don't know.
Yay, Wendy!
Good morning, everyone. Wendy Chung, broker with Century 21 Synergy and team lead at the Ottawa House and Condo Group. I hope you love the picture behind me. That is my newest listing, which just launched this morning. It's an amazing single-family home with an in-law suite in the basement with a separate entrance. So great value there for not only extended family, but also for investors. And it's located in Chapel Hill, not too far from where Sam lives. So Sam, you might want to take a look at it. So without further ado, I would like to share with you my presentation for this morning. And my presentation is all about the pros and cons of pre-construction versus resale property. So today we're going to talk about some of the pros and cons and making the right choice for your next home. Understanding your options. So again, pre-construction homes, resale homes, looking at the cost considerations of both, timing and availability, customization options, and risk factors. So let's start with pre-construction homes. Let's talk about the pros. So 1, you can choose from the floor plan, finishes, upgrades. You can customize your home before the construction is complete. You can also choose from modern designs with new materials, energy efficient features, and contemporary architectural styles. You can also potentially pay lower initial prices with builder promotions, incentives, and pre-construction discounts. So if you buy early prior to them breaking ground, you can usually get it for a lower price. As the builder gets closer to completion, the prices go up. There's also a warranty coverage on new construction that protects against defects and provides peace of mind, and that's called the carry-on warranty. In Ontario, the federal government has collectively decided to temporarily expand the HST rebate on new builds. So that means they're removing up to 100% of the 13% HST on eligible new homes. And this expanded program offers up to $130,000 in combined tax relief, and it applies to all eligible buyers, not just first-time home buyers, for agreements that are signed before March 31st, 2027. Looking at the cons of pre-construction homes, there are lots of add-ons to budget for. For example, when you buy new builds, you don't get eaves troughs, you don't get fencing, there's no window coverings, no kitchen appliances, washer, dryer, central air conditioning units, etc. So these are all extra on top of what you're paying for the property. Also, a builder can delay a tentative closing or occupancy date up to 2 times by a maximum of 120 days each time for a total of 240 days. So we all know that budgeting time-wise for a new build can be very tricky because of the builder's potential for delays due to labor, due to maybe material costs or material supply. However, there is no set limit on how many times a builder can delay a project if, again, there are unavoidable delay clauses such as strikes, fires, or severe supply chain interruptions. Also, with new neighborhoods that have not yet been established, there's no infrastructure. For example, there's no parks, no schools, no sidewalks, no groceries, no shopping or paved roads. So when you're buying a new build in a new neighborhood, you've got to consider that the next couple of years, you'll be driving through a construction zone and nothing will be completed until it's completed. Again, in the sales office, a lot of people don't know this, but the sales team, they work for the builder. They are not licensed realtors. So all of the forms that they have you sign, including the agreement of purchase and sale, are predetermined or written by the builder's legal team to benefit the builder. Material and labor costs have gone up over time, and builders will take every opportunity to cut their costs to maximize their profits. Builders are not hiring skilled hands and speeding up the building process to get their money. And this leads to problems for the buyers after closing. Let's look at resale homes. Here are the pros. You get immediate availability, typically 30 to 90 day closing when you're buying a resale property. You're buying a property in an established neighborhood with mature landscaping and proven community amenities and transportation. There's an opportunity to assess the actual condition of the home before you purchase through your home inspection. There's a potential for negotiation on the price, the conditions, the inclusions, the closing date, and other terms that are mutually agreed upon between the buyer and the seller. You have the added value of not having to purchase or install eaves troughs, a paved driveway, landscaping, appliances, storage sheds, decks, swimming pools, gazebos, hot tubs, window coverings. So there's a lot of extra bonuses when you're buying a resale property because the property has already been established and has been sitting for a while. Older homes were mostly built by a team of tradespeople and skilled workers who use better materials. I believe that a lot of resale properties are better built. I prefer the older properties over the newer properties, personally. Here are some of the cons of resale homes. Will you get your return on investment if you inject a lot of money into updating the features? And are you limited in your customization options with the existing structure, especially of the older homes? Others who have lived in the home before you, if you believe that a home has energy, then you may want to ask our Tony in this group to give you a reading before purchasing. Does it have good feng shui? Older homes, by today's standards, may have less efficiency with older furnaces, not adequate attic insulation based on today's standards, which equals higher maintenance costs and low energy efficiency. A home inspection is a visual inspection by a professional in the field. So there are no warranties in the previous owner once the sale closes, and the financial responsibility of fixing defects will fall entirely on the buyer. or the new owner. So let's compare your options. You've got pre-construction, price and timing. The key factors: lower initial prices, wait months, maybe years for it to complete. You have a high customization ability. You get a new home, new condition. There are delay risks involved, and the quality of labor and materials is sometimes questionable. Looking at resale homes, again, price and timing, key factors, negotiable pricing. It's move in quickly, limited customization, assess the condition of the current property, and you are buying into a mature neighborhood. Looking at a side-by-side comparison, you must consider your budget, your timeline, desired features, your risk tolerance, and location priority. So finally, if you would like to have a further conversation about this topic, please reach out to me. Here are my contact details. Thank you very much, everyone, and I'm ready to take your questions.
Wendy, that was really good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Quick question. If the builder says, "Hi, I'm going to take your money to build the house," and with a timetable, I get that, and the delays can happen, I get that. Who owns the problem? If something goes sideways with the premises, like it catches fire before the house is turned over, is that all on the contractor side?
Yeah, so it's a very challenging situation. I recently spoke to a gentleman who overpaid for a middle unit townhouse in Barrhaven. He's from the Toronto area. I'm not sure where he got the advice. There was a delay in the closing date, and he had already given the builder a $100,000 deposit. And he was supposed to buy this property with a partner. That partner couldn't come up with the financing. So he didn't want to lose the $100,000 deposit at the end of the day, so he went through with the sale. But if you can believe it, his mortgage on a townhouse is $4,200.
Wow.
And he's only getting $2,500 in rent. So you can imagine the predicament that he is in. But also say, there isn't much recourse that you have against the builder. You can try to get your deposit back, but in some cases you may not be able to because you do have a contract with the builder, and the builder can delay. It's part of the contract, which is put together by their legal team. So really, you don't have much recourse.
Wow. Does anybody else have a question for Wendy? So Wendy, is there some sort of matrix that you would do to go, do I buy or do I build? Because if you're building, right, you have time delays, et cetera, and it can be life choices, like how are you situated now? But let's say if I own a house and I'm going to build a house, how do you sell the house that I want to leave, but it's tenuous? As in, like, the builder not delivering on time.
Yeah, so it's really tricky. Like, I don't help a lot of clients with new builds because a lot of clients just decide to walk into the sales office and do it themselves. Because if I were to show up after they signed in with the builder, they won't pay my commission. They'd say, you know what, we don't want to see you. Your clients are on their own. So there's not a lot of protection that a realtor can provide to their client when they're buying a new build, because the relationship is directly between that client and the builder. So they're kind of left to their own devices. Now, if I get introduced to the client early in the game, I'm going to go through, what are the pros and cons of buying new and what are the pros and cons of buying resale, and then just really get to know the client and their risk tolerance and also their circumstances, and then perhaps give them the proper guidance and let them make the best decision. So I've had the experience of buying pre-construction 3 times and resale twice. So I have experience on both sides, and there are obviously pros and cons. It just depends on what your end game is.
So that was gonna lead to my next question is, you get a hold of Wendy first before you go into the, that way you don't end up, you don't end up wearing something you didn't wanna wear in the first place.
That would be recommended, yeah, because I have some stronger insight into how everything works, and I want to make sure that the proper education reaches the right person so that they don't make the same mistakes that others have made in the past.
So, yeah. Go ahead, Sam.
Wendy, thank you for your presentation. Generally, the market right now, is it a buyer's market, seller's market in the Ottawa, Orleans area?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Like we do have a lot of inventory on the market, but there is a lot of inventory that's it's priced a little bit higher than market value because sellers are still wanting to test the market and hope that they'll get a buyer that's going to pay them more than possibly what the market will support. So I'm going to say there's a lot of buyers out there, but there's also a lot of sellers. So in my opinion, it's more like a little bit of a balanced market, but in some cases, it's a seller's market. It depends if the property shows extremely well and it's priced accordingly. They're getting multiple offers again, Sam, but not over the top crazy, but just slightly over.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
One quick sidebar question. I know you won't give a name. Are there builders to avoid, and are there builders to be preferred?
Good question. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good question. You know what? There used to be builders that have a good reputation and some that don't. However, what we're finding is a lot of the labor that they're hiring are just, minimum wagers. Let's just say people looking for a job, someone that can pick up a hammer and hammer a nail. So I'm finding that a lot of the labor supply are not skilled workers. So these crews move from builder to builder. So it's kind of hard to answer that question because we're finding some people with a great experience because I guess the crew working on the house did a great job and the supervisor did his or her job to make sure that everything was put together correctly. Then I speak to others who have bought other new builds and there were so many issues, like just hundreds of issues that became a problem for the new owner.
So would it make sense then if you're going to do a new build, you go to a custom builder that's doing a house for you? In other words, that,
Yeah.
it's not that, they all build houses, I get that piece. But this custom builder, he or she, they build the house, but it has, the game's up. In other words, you don't have transient labor force that, lowest bid wins and you get the best non-good results.
Yeah,
Yes, well, absolutely. I mean, that is really what a lot of people dream about. Their dream home is to have their home built custom to their liking. They buy the lot and then they choose the builder. However, there's a huge cost involved with having a custom built home. And there's no more land in the Greenbelt in the greater Ottawa area. So you really have to find a lot that's further away. So depending on your work situation, your lifestyle, you may or may not want to be that far out. So there's a lot of factors to consider. And these are the conversations that I have with clients, is that we just go through a whole bunch of different scenarios and just sort of go through, what's important for them and what's going to work. But cost is a huge factor, Bernie.
Yeah, no, well, it almost would make sense that you'd find not that you're going to gentrify an area, but you'd find a structure like in Westboro, right? All of a sudden you see this 1940s, 1950s structure, and next thing you know, boom, there's a whole new, fancy looking building, sharp design, etc. And it's a rebuild, but I suspect that's even more expensive.
Yeah, there's a lot of cost involved. You also have to think about the bylaws as well, because in the older homes, let's say for example in Westboro, what are what are building permits? You got to check with the city. How much can you customize it and bring it up to maybe a different modern standard, because maybe the purchaser bought it more for land value, was always planning to knock it down, but has to keep something original to the structure in order to satisfy the city's, permit. So there's so much involved.
The telephone pole out front, that's it, we'll leave that in.
But yeah, so Wendy, just so that we have an idea, if we have a client that wants to do that kind of a rebuild, it's really difficult for you to sort of get into the builder and say, okay, I have a client for you to get some kind of a compensation for it. So do you, if it's more about consulting with your client, do you have like a consultation service or something? And, it won't be a retail thing, but.
Yeah, absolutely. So really, it's just, a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot involved in a pre-construction where they are, really blown away by the showroom, the model home. And so they don't realize that they can still bring a realtor early. Like the initial introduction to the builder must come from the realtor in order for me to get a small compensation. But for the consumer, the benefit is that you are working with someone that has experience, with resale and with new construction. So I do have clients that I sign in with the builder, but we're at the same time, we're also considering pre-construction, but we're also looking at resale properties at the same time so that they can then see the comparison and decide which direction works best for them based on cost, based on location, based on timelines and availability. Because I have a friend that I was golfing with on the weekend, and her partner just recently put a deposit down for a new construction. Now the project is finished, but they happened to buy an inventory home that wasn't sold during the construction period. So they're paying. Usually they would pay more, but when they check with the neighbor whose house was built a year ago, my friend is paying less. So these neighbors are not happy because they paid full pop. But because the builder's trying to offload some inventory, there are some great deals right now.
Right.
It's, pre-construction, but almost completed project. But the builder doesn't want to hold on to the inventory anymore. So there's so many different scenarios. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's why Bernie brought up the idea that if you're getting a builder, they're building your home rather than they're building 24, and after they've got it, 10 people have bought, but they're still sitting on half of their inventory. So the idea is to let's reduce the price so they move faster. Whatever bridge financing that the builder has is starting to run out and it's costing them money. So yeah, I see that situation. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, interesting. So okay, all right. So, but if we know somebody that wants to do that, you can get involved in some way. And I guess you do it on a case-by-case thing. You don't have like a blanket, whatever, this is what's gonna cost, because you need to know how much involvement that you're gonna be putting into it.
Absolutely, yes. For every client, it's a different situation. So for me, just to have a consultation and get to know the client, just to understand where they are. I'm not going to, discount, the pre-construction side of things or the resale side, but just want to show them both sides and then have them decide, based on everything we know, what situation works for you best.
Okay. Because actually, if they're on their own, it's been my experience that they'll cost more because in the builder, because you have to be there almost every day. Because you start to see things that they're cutting corners and they're like, even like you said, if there's been delays and now they've got to speed things up, they're going to have to cut corners. Cement that isn't quite dry, it's good enough, and they just start, putting things on it, and it's
Put your
not quite
initials.
set yet,
Put your initials in there. You put your initials if it's not quite dry yet.
Oh, yeah, or your footprint,
Yeah, a little heart saying I love,
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, it's,
So I'm going to close this with the quote for the week. The fastest way to become insanely confident is to become dangerously competent. Leila Hormozi.
Ernie, that's last week's quote.
Oh, is it? Okay, I'm working off the website. Sorry.
okay.
No, the website, I didn't put it on. This week's quote is "Success is just how high you bounce after you hit the bottom," from George Patton.
Yeah, so if you got a tank, you need to shoot something off, there you go. Thank you, Kat.
Success is how you bounce after you hit the bottom. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, some people, though, when they hit rock bottom, they look for a jackhammer so they can go further. They don't listen. Thanks a lot, everybody, for coming. This was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Breakfast here is good, by the way. That thick bacon and the 2 sunny side eggs and the toast and the potato wedges, that was like $12.
Yeah, and if you know of a business, that is struggling or is starting off, and you have them come in. It's amazing what the ripple it does when somebody comes in that they're new. Then they say, "Oh, I know a guy that does this." It benefits everybody by bringing somebody in, a guest or something. It doesn't cost anything. It just but it's harder to do it. So between Kat and Bernie and I and a few others, we're doing our best to try to bring in guests, and there's a lot of heart. At least that's what I see. I mean, how other people see it is however they do it, but I see that the more people that we have, the more referrals go out, and the numbers don't lie. As more people are doing BAMs, there's more referrals. It benefits all of us. Okay?
One thing I might suggest, if you have a subject matter expert in your area, see if they're open to coming in on and just coordinate. So if it's for Wednesdays, it's Sam for coordination. If it's Thursdays, it's Kat, and Mondays it's myself. And just have them come in, and whether they join. But it's that subject matter expert sharing information that provides more value. Hey, you never know; they might want to join too, depending on the nature of what they do.
Yeah, the odd time we'll bring in somebody from the outside to actually do a presentation. We normally have not done that, but it's a nice change, when somebody new comes in and they show their industry.
Wendy, you're on mute.
Yeah, Wendy, you're on mute, by the way. Yeah.
Wendy, you're on mute there.
Yeah, we didn't hear you, sorry.
You were saying stuff.
But I think you were saying something like Bernie is awesome.
Yes, I was saying everybody is awesome on this call. No, I was just talking to my mom. I have to run because I've got to take care of her right now. But I just wanted to wish everyone an amazing week. The weather is gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's going to get out and get some fresh air and do something active.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I brought my convertible today.
Yeah, but I'll see you guys all next week then. Thanks very much.
Perfect. All right, take care, guys.
Baseball for me tonight.
Oh, right on. Take some pictures.
Hey, I had an interesting thing happen last week. My hip was really driving me crazy, so I didn't think I was going to be able to play baseball. I ended up going just in case they needed somebody to hit, and I was going to get a pitch runner. I hit a home run.
Wow.
That's how good you were, even with a bad hip.
By the end of the game, my hip was fine. So it was.
Yeah.
Baseball actually helped me with my injury. I had it for about 2 or 3 weeks before that.
Yeah, exactly. Movement is medicine.
And by the way, Bernie, I looked it up. Your transmission does not require anything fancy. Thank goodness. $260 all in for transmission fluid change.
Wow, you knew where I was going with that. That's pretty smart.
That is.
When should I be doing it? I'm at 55,000 clicks.
Anytime.
That's kind of early as far as I'm concerned, but I mean, CVT transmissions, you never know when they're going to have problems. and Nissan unfortunately is worse.
Yeah.
So better early than late because I can diagnose maybe a potential